Okay, so what is love? The big mysterious thing. It's not really that mysterious actually, because you can boil it down to a simple formula. Love equals attention minus projections. That's the basic formula for what love is, because if your attention is completely pure, you are 100% loving. At least according to this, how much loving you can be within this realm. And all the projections are basically just negativity and darkness and resistances that is lodged in your unconscious mind, and they basically block the light of your projector of your true self or natural self in such a way that they cast shadows through your being and out onto the physical reality, so-called, or the screen of reality, and creates the movie of your life, and also onto other people, which you will see in them reflected back to you what is basically your own issues most of the time. Doesn't mean you can't have a neutral kind of observation, but a lot of times you will see, as they say, the splinter in someone else's eye and not the lodge in your own. And that's how projection works. That's how attention works, because pure attention is pure love. So there is no lack, there is no attention deficit disorder in this world. It's a love deficit disorder. That's the problem. All these kids that gets diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, or whatever it's called, they lack real quality attention from an adult. That's what they're craving. That's why they constantly do bad things and misbehave, because they actually just want to be seen with high quality attention, which recognizes the deeper level of who they actually are. And very few adults are actually capable of doing that in this world at this point, and in the historic time before. So we have like a very massive deficiency of love or high quality attention. You can try this if you have achieved a certain level of consciousness. You can actually do this if a kid is misbehaving or something like that. You can just put yourself in a position with the body facing this kid and not say anything, and just silently radiate high quality attention, non-judgmental, even though the kid has misbehaved. You just put your attention with no judgment on the kid, letting him know sort of telepathically that you understand what he's doing, that is not good, but you're not judging it. You're just standing there silently emanating high quality attention, and you will see that the kid recognizes it, and usually many times will kind of shrink himself or herself in that light, because the darkness is being blown away by that attention. And this actually is much more beneficial, 100,000 times more beneficial for that kid than yelling at him or punishing him or her in any way, because it actually makes them conscious of what they're doing. At the same time, it gives them a silent and subconscious affirmation of that they are worth something, they have value, that you recognize their value, but you still recognize that what they did was not good. And this is what very few adults know how to do, because very few adults have been exposed for something like that. Because most so-called adults in this reality have grown up with adults who punishes them in different ways and never gave them high quality attention or love. So that is the simple formula. If you the more you remove your darkness and projections, the higher quality your attention becomes automatically, and the more love you're capable of. And at a certain point in the 500s of the scale of consciousness, the quality of your attention becomes so pure that you're able to love everybody equally in a non-personal way, because love is your attention, and attention is not really personal. It's just whatever you put your attention on, you are loving that being or that whatever even animals or things, even places and buildings. It doesn't matter. You're basically wielding around a high quality attention all the time. Doesn't mean you can have slipbacks and you can be triggered, because you still have, at that level, at the 500s, you still have core issues which can be massive. So you can still, but in general, at that level, that's when love becomes, or attention becomes, so pure and so high level that it can be called unconditional, because below that it's less and less unconditional all the way down the scale. And even more so, obviously, if you get into enlightenment levels, the higher end of the scale, it's even much more purity, and the quality of your attention is maybe 100 times more than that, or better than that even, or maybe more even, I'm not sure. But the point is that love is as simple as that. It's not what they call love in this world is romantic love, which most people think about when they hear the word love. They don't think about their attention or the quality of attention, because nobody or very few people actually understand that you can actually change or upgrade and improve the quality of your attention by using that attention, that very attention, by turning it in on yourself, kind of, and actually burning away impurities in your unconscious mind that comes up in your conscious mind as you go on your journey. That's how you use your attention to improve your attention, or improve the quality of your attention. So romantic love, if you want to boil it down in a funny way, it's basically a hostage situation with mutually assured heartbreak. That describes most relationships, especially on a lower level of the scale of consciousness. It's a hostage situation where each part has the ability to hurt the other by leaving or doing stuff, saying stuff, basically withdrawing the so-called love in all sorts of ways. So it's a hostage situation, and there is a mutually assured heartbreak involved, the dynamic involved, just like mutually assured destruction between the superpowers in the Cold War. It's kind of similar on a smaller scale, right? Because nobody wants to be hurt and to have the heartache of the other person leaving or doing something or being unfaithful or whatever it is, or even just saying something bad, or that they don't love them or something like that, or doing something that proves that they don't love them. There are all sorts of dramas around that, right? So that's basically described this so-called romantic love in kind of a funny way, but it's a lot of truth to it too. And the thing is, with heartbreak, is that the heart that is breaking is actually just conditioning and darkness and resistances and negativity in your unconscious mind. So having a heartbreak is a good thing if you want to increase your actual level of love or your quality of your attention. Then heartbreak is something you can actually use. It's extremely efficient, actually, because it goes deep, and it jars loose a lot of hidden stuff in your unconscious, creates a chaos, and you can just sit and heal all that and have a good time healing all that, because this is really increasing and doing wonders for your development and the actual real love. Because the so-called heartbreak is actually happening within the context of the real heart, and the real heart is your full awareness, and your full awareness is blocked by all these negativities and resistances. And the heartbreak is bringing all those or many of those things to the surface in a chaotic way. And then you can just sit and sort them out and heal them one by one, or whatever comes up. And after all that has been finished, you have made a big progress when it comes to actually finding real love, which is unconditional love, which is pure attention, pure awareness, pure consciousness. So that's the good news. Heartbreak is something you should actually embrace and not be afraid of, and it's actually a good thing in that context, but most people will not see it that way because they have no idea about any of these things. So if you do, you have a big advantage in the whole dynamic, because you're not really that scared of being heartbroken, right? So you don't have to be a slave of the other person, kind of, and live on the whim of that other person using all sorts of drama devices to manipulate you in the relationship. If you're in that kind of relationship, I mean, you shouldn't really, if you want to be in a good relationship, you should probably seek something else, but sometimes you have to go through certain lessons. But if you know about these things, you will have a big advantage, because you know that heartbreak is a good thing if you use it that way. And it's also, many people, they get too dependent on the other person, on the partner. They see a whole life ahead of themselves, with this person, which may be the case, but it also may not. And it's important to not put too much into these things also, especially if you're on a fast track path towards higher end of the scale of consciousness, because then a lot of unexpected things will happen. You will not live a quiet, easy or calm life with necessarily one relationship like that. You will maybe have to go through many in different ways, because that's how you most efficiently can heal the negativity and all the traumas. So this is just a brief little talk about love, because it seems to be a mystery to a lot of people. But for me, it's very simple. It's basically love equals attention minus projections. And romantic love is a hostage situation with a mutually assured heartbreak dynamic.